Hey everyone, and welcome back. And we just finished off this beautiful little button. Now you may be thinking, Daniel, what are we going to do that is so amazing? Now what I want to do, and you can follow along if you'd like, I want to actually create an animation for this thumb. I want it to kind of look like somebody's just kind of giving that thumbs up really nicely. So we can do that pretty easily, not many frames, I promise. So let's actually just duplicate this. So we're gonna just remove, and for the sake of this experiment, I don't want to create like a hover state. I wanna just keep it super simple, just a quick animation. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna duplicate this frame over here. And we are actually going to manipulate this icon. And I know it may seem scary at first, but don't worry, I'm going to walk you through how to do that. So right now I have the frame selected. Let's get into our design panel so we can work nicely here. So you can see I have the frame selected. Now I have the vector selected. That's what we want to do. And if we click into that even more, we can mess around with this. So all I really want to do is I want to drag these spots all the way down. So you can do that really easily. Just drag them down little by little so they're all on the same line. You can even move this down as well. Make sure, you can make sure that these little curves are handled. You can even delete them if you want by clicking on this point here and pressing backspace. Then we have our final one. So we can just leave that like that. So now it looks like somebody has a fist. So the transformation I want to see is this thumb kind of popping up. And we can even fix this up a bit more. So we have the thumb like that. So we can tilt it. Kind of like that. Even move it down a bit. I think that's good. And then let's bring that over. And we're going to turn this blue. So we are going to take this fill, make it like that. We can even do the stroke if you want. So everything is the same. We'll take so I have the text selected. I'm going to actually make that white, just like in this version. So liked. Then I'm going to take that icon and turn the selection colors to white as well. So that way we're ready to go here. So, okay, now I have the click. Then it's gonna bring it down, change the color and the text. And then we are going to move on to the next section here. And essentially what I want to do is I'm actually going to take that and copy that into that frame, and I'm going to remove that. So that's going to be like normal. And we're going to even create another one because it's not going to just happen like this. Let's actually prototype this. Let's start. So we're just going to remove these flows that we have. We're going to remove this one as well. Okay, now we're going to start from here. So on click, I want to go to this screen, and we're going to keep it really tight, 100 milliseconds. And then from this screen onward, we'll do an after delay of 1 millisecond, maybe 200 to speed it up a bit. And over here, I kind of want it to hang a bit. Just a little bit. 100 milliseconds. It kind of seems like a lot because we've been doing 1 millisecond delays, but we're gonna do 100 milliseconds and I'll show you why. So let's actually take a look at what this looks like now. We'll go into our prototype. So this was the original here. We just clicked in, we liked it. Now, so we're starting to kind of get this nice little liked action. It looks better when you are kind of smaller because it isn't scaled up. Sometimes when you scale up these prototypes, they don't act the way you would like them to. So that is scaled perfectly. Okay, so that's step one. Now we need to make this thumbs up feel a little bit realistic. So we are actually going to, when I think about like something giving a thumbs up, like it's kind of like a boom, boom. So we can move that up a bit. Like that. Okay, that's gonna be nice. And then we can come back to this other screen here. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna after delay once again. We are going to now keep this after delay very short and tighten it up again because it's just springing upward. And then it's going to spring back to normal. Another after delay. And here we can spend a little bit more time coming back to normal. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So that was pretty neat. Let's scale it up a bit. I actually like that a lot. That was really nice. Boom. And once again, we can kind of loop this a bit. So if I were to take this exact frame that I have here. So if I were to click this button, what I would want to happen is I wanted to go over here. So on click, we're just going to kind of go and do 100 milliseconds. We're going to keep it simple. And then we are just going to kind of loop back really quickly. We're not going to worry about any in-betweens when it comes to the way it behaves. Because to be honest, when you like something, you want that to be more of a nicer animation. You can spend more time doing on the unliking, but I always find that, I'd rather spend time on the actual main type of interaction you want to happen. So we can do the same thing we did here where we kind of had it hang for 100 milliseconds. I actually like the way that turned out. So we're going to do that. 200 milliseconds. So we're going to kind of keep these types of interactions very similar. So going from here to here, it hanged. Going from here to here, it's going to hang too. So that's good. And then after to finalize everything, we're going to do an after delay. And if you want, and if you're feeling ambitious to learn more about easing, we can do this. You can go ahead and actually just create you can create a custom curve. And this is kind of like a nicer animation or an ease here. What I've done is I make sure that when it comes in, it's gonna get to this area and then slow down and then zip back into the ending. So I'll show you what that looks like right now. So let's actually shrink that down a bit. Back to its normal scale. We can boom. So I've just I'm holding command while I use my scroll wheel to just bring it up to whatever I like. This seems much more natural for a button. So you notice that it doesn't have any jiggly effect on the way back. On the way to liking, that seems much more natural. So there's a couple of things we can do here. I think the only thing that I would really like to do is maybe make this, like move it up just a bit. So let's see what it looks like. Oh, actually, you know what? I liked it a little bit lower. You can even probably put it a little bit lower too. Let's see. Oops, yeah. Okay, so we had it right the first time, I think. Let's take a look again. Yeah, that's gonna have to do. And that's how you create a pretty nice little micro interaction with a liked button. And if you followed along, yours should look very similar to this. You can do with a lot of different things if you're thinking about having icons transform. What I did here was just kind of a very quick transformation. But you can do a lot of different things. You can turn things into like a play button or a pause button. You can have like an arrow turn around or twist or whatever like that. And I'll show you smaller things like that in some final projects that we're going to go through. But for these little kind of examples, really, really neat to kind of go back and, you know, put some final touches on this just to kind of get it to a point that looks really great for showcasing your work. And that's how you create a very nice small micro interaction with a like button.